Hello guys, welcome to my new channel. This is called God of Politics and this is my first video. My first video will be doing an election prediction for Joe Biden versus Donald Trump in the 2020 presidential election. I'll be doing a lot of stuff like this with other candidates versus Donald Trump, just talking about politics in general and doing many other things related to politics, and that's why my channel is called God of Politics. This is my opinion, but it is well informed, I think, and I hope you enjoy this video. So we're going to start off by filling in all these safe states that will go to the president no matter what. It's going to be all of these states right here. And then we're going to get Nebraska bunch. Alright. I'm going to get the safe states for Joe Biden. If Joe Biden were to be the nominee, he is leading in the polls. So we're going to start this by using Joe Biden. I think these states will be safe. Maybe not Oregon, but as it stands, I think it probably would be. Then we're going to do these states. We're going to do Maine's 1st District, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, Illinois, and that is going to be it. So we have 180 safe electoral votes for Joe Biden in this election and 125 safe electoral votes for the president. So we can start off filling the states. So we would go likely, lean, and tilt and see who would win this election, in my opinion, hypothetically, if this happens. So we're going to start with Nevada. I think Nevada would go by a lean margin to Joe Biden. It went to Hillary and Obama twice, and I can't see it getting close to the point where it would be a tilt margin or even a victory for Donald Trump. So I'm going to put that as a lean. Arizona, I'm going to put as a tilt for the president. There's a high-profile Senate race there with Martha McSally running for re-election against probably Mark Kelly, the astronaut. I think that's his name. I don't know if it's Mark Kelly. Yeah, I think it is. But there's a high-profile Senate race, which could flip for the Democrats, but I don't think that this state will flip just yet, even with the trends that there are. Then we go over here. New Mexico, I think, will go likely. Trump is very unpopular in this state. I don't think he's going to be able to get it too close here. Maybe if he tries really hard, he could get it to a lean margin, but I can't see any chance in it getting closer than this, much closer than this. Then we're doing Colorado. I think Colorado will be a lean margin. Trump isn't very popular in the state either. There's also a very high-profile Senate race here with Cory Gardner running for re-election against probably John Hickenlooper, who was the former governor of Colorado. So I think his selection is going to be a swing state like Colorado has been for a while, but I think it's going to be solid for the Democrats. Then we go to another state. Speaking of trends like we did in Arizona, we're going to go to Texas. I think Texas will be a lean state to the GOP. It has been trending blue for a number of years now. It has been getting close to the past couple of elections. I don't think this is going to be the time that it flips blue yet, but it will be closer, maybe by 3 or 4 points to the president. Speaking of trends again, we're going to go down to Georgia here. I think Georgia, it's a similar case. It's just not time for the Democrats yet. So therefore, I think it's going to be a likely margin for Donald Trump. Then we go over here to Iowa. I think this will also be a lean state. Donald Trump flipped it in 2016, and I can't see the Democrats making too large of a bid to try and flip the state. So therefore, I think that this will be a lean state. Here, then we go over to Minnesota. Minnesota's the state that kind of got away from Trump in 2016, along with New Hampshire, which we'll talk about later. Minnesota's a state I think Trump could make a bet at, depending on the candidate. But if it were Joe Biden here, I think Joe Biden would be popular in this state, and he would gain a lot of votes that Hillary Clinton got, plus adding on some more. So I think for that reason, Joe Biden would win the state lean. And we're going to go over to Nebraska's 2nd District. I think would also be lean. Obama won in 2008, lost in 2012. Hillary lost it in 2016 by a large margin, but I think it'll be a bit closer in this election, but Donald Trump will still win it by a lean margin. We're going to go all the way down to Florida here, and I think Florida will be a very close state. Biden won it twice with Obama. Trump barely won in 2016 against Hillary after Hillary campaigned there a lot. It is now Trump's home state, but Biden is not too unpopular here, and Trump is pretty popular here. And I think it's going to be a close state like it has been for a very long time. But I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Trump will end up winning it. Then we go up here to North Carolina. I think that this will also go tilt to the GOP. There's also a high-profile Senate race. You got Thom Tillis running here for re-election. I think it could flip in the Senate race. More likely than it's going to be flipping in the presidential race here. Trump is not too unpopular here, and we got to focus on the trends right now. The trends don't show too much for the Democrats. We have the special election in 2018, as well as the midterms elections, which were good for Democrats, but I think when it comes to a presidential election, Donald Trump would still win this state. Hasn't gone to the Democrats since 2008 when Obama won it. Next, we're going to go to Virginia here. Virginia's got a lot of establishment Democrats, and I think those establishment Democrats would push Biden over the line, give him a bigger victory than Hillary did, and even Obama did in 2008 and 2012, just because of the trends that the state has, the establishment Democrats. Biden is an establishment Democrats, and I think Biden would do well in the state, winning by a lean margin, maybe even a liking margin. Then we're going to go to the Northeast here. I'm going to start with New Hampshire. I think New Hampshire vote lean. It was very, very close, only a couple thousand votes difference between them, between Hillary and Trump in the 2016 election. I think it'll be a bit further of a margin this time, but I still think it will be a swing state. It'll be close. Trump won't put too much of an effort in it just because it's 4 electoral votes, but it is a state that could get close for this election. So it'll be very interesting. Then we're going to go up to Maine at large. I think we'll go I think it'll go lean towards the Democrats. It's a state Trump very surprisingly won the 2nd district for, which I think he will win again by a tilt margin. You could even give it for him a lean margin, but I'm going to leave it at a tilt and Maine at large at a lean, which would be very good for Donald Trump to pick up the 1 electoral vote here. Then we're going to go down to the Rust Belt, the states that Donald Trump needs to win and also Joe Biden needs to win if they want to get the White House. Whoever wins the White House is going to win these states: Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. We'll start off with Ohio. I think Ohio will go lean. Trump is unpopular in the state, but I think he'll still end up winning it, even though Biden did win it twice in 2008. And let me just fill in D.C. That was annoying. All right. So back to Ohio. I think Trump will still end up winning the state. It's going to be an interesting election in this state. It'll be close, as always, but Republicans need to win the state, and I think they will by a lean margin. Then we're going to go over to these 3 states. 3 of the states that Donald Trump flipped, along with Ohio and Iowa and Florida in 2016. I think he will lose Pennsylvania. Although, all these states are going to be tilt, I think Biden will win the state. It is his home state, even though he hasn't lived there in 50 years. It is his home state. He has a lot of appeal to the voters here. A lot of the voters don't like Donald Trump. They have very unpopular views of him. And so I think that reason is going to be razor thin, but it will end up going to Biden in the end. Then Michigan, I think this was the closest of these 3 states here. I think that is going to flip. It could be a lean. I think Trump realizes that this state could easily flip unless he makes significant gains, but I think this state is going to be a tilt within 1%, maybe a bit more. We'll see. Depends on how Biden runs his campaign, whether he makes a lot more bad gas. Trump's got gas as well, but Biden's pretty bad at him. So I think even with that, Joe Biden would be able to flip. He would be able to flip Michigan. And then here we go over to the final state here, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a state that Democrats did well here in the midterms. They won some of the House Representative seats. They won a majority in the state legislature. It went to Obama and Biden twice. It went to Hillary. It went against Hillary by a very small margin. And I think for that reason, it's going to go to Joe Biden by a tilt margin, which would give Joe Biden 278 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 260 electoral votes. And what this would do with the victory in Wisconsin for Joe Biden by a very small margin, a tilt margin, it would make Joe Biden the 46th president of the United States in one of the closest elections ever. You've got so many close states: Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all these states that have become so close, so razor-thin margins. And I think at the end of the day, Joe Biden will end up winning this election. As it stands right now, this could change rapidly. Trump could deteriorate even more, and Biden could win Texas, Arizona, Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, Iowa. Or, Trump could expand from before. He could win Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. He could even win some of these other states like Nevada or Virginia. We just have to see. But I think it is going to be a very interesting election that we'll all have to pay attention to. Again, this is only my opinion. You can disagree with me, but for what I have seen so far, this is what I believe to be the result of the 2020 election. So that was my first video on the God of Politics channel. I'll be doing a lot more videos like this with election predictions and talking about politics and the state of politics in our country right now. And so yeah, subscribe and like the video. I'll see you guys later.